Well, hello peeps! So today we got another WoW Debbie Downer video, and while I mostly would not like to make these, I feel like it's kind of unavoidable because of how the game is doing. We will talk about some goodies, some good stuff specifically regarding Enhancement Shaman, but otherwise we got some stuff to talk about that I have noticed recently while playing a lot of different games. Now let's talk about some goodies regarding Enhance, and I must say I'm really feeling good about Enhance going forward. The current tuning of Enhance feels very good, specifically defensive-wise. I actually feel like my defenses are quite good. This is, of course, speaking in a BG environment, your defenses are still all dampening based, right? So, like, your defenses are not gonna be as good in the Soul Shuffle and obviously in prolonged games. But regardless, Enhance just feels very good for me going forward, and the changes that they are doing in 11.1 are, I think, very amazing. Specifically, the changes to, like, the Primordial Wave and that side of things, and giving that Storm, I forget what it's called, like, Storm Whirlwind ability, man. It is so flavorful. It feels so good. I think it's Primal Storm, actually. It is such a flavorful spell to click, but it also feels very good. Like, you actually do a decent burst amount when you cast it. I think I was doing, like, when I was testing it, like, with the gear, with, like, the current gear that I have on my hands, which is not fully geared, I was doing, like, almost 2 million damage with it, so assuming you're like fully geared for the next season, you're probably doing like 3 million, maybe even 4 million damage with it. Obviously, this is on the target dummy, but still, it just feels very good to press. Feels like a very thematic ability, right? Something that finally like makes you feel like an enhancement shaman, right? I also feel like the change to the feral spirits is extremely good. So like it finally makes it so it's like combines like the physical part with like the magical part or like the elemental part of, you know, the shaman. Actually, I could even go as far as to say that I'm probably less worried about Enhance going forward than I'm about Demon Hunter. This is probably the first time ever that I have been more worried about Demon Hunter, and that's because usually Demon Hunter can, and it usually has to do with the fact that just Demon Hunter has a lot more outplay potential than Enhance, with stuns, with the CC, right, with the mobility. So ultimately, even when Demon Hunter is, let's say, weaker defensive wise, you still can play around your mobility, which Enhance can't really do that, right? Enhance is a freaking rock, and if Enhance is squishy, Enhance, yeah, there's nothing Enhance can do about it, right? So I must say, very weird for me to say this, that I'm more worried about Demon Hunter right now than I'm about Enhancement Shaman. There's also some additional quality of life things, like you being able to move your Surging Totem with the Surging Totem button, right? You don't have to use Totemic Projection. You can then, of course, additionally use Totemic Projection to move it around even further, right? Your shield is not gonna be able to be dispelled. The further, like, procs of the shield, they will, but, like, the big, meaty shield that you instantly get when you drop the totem is not gonna be dispellable. So it's quite a nice few little additional, right, quality of life things that are also gonna make it a better time in PvP. And I must add, even though this is a very weird thing to say for me, but I'm actually more excited about Enhance going into 11.1 than Demon Hunter, and I'm actually more worried about Demon Hunter and the state of Demon Hunter probably the first time since I've been back in the game. Like, the first time that I'm actually worried about the Demon Hunter over being worried about Enhance. Like, Enhance has been such a non-factor in, like, expansions, right? And, like, Demon Hunter almost always is, like, generally good or has, like, an expansion and it's good. So, very weird for me to say that I'm probably more excited about Enhance going into Season 2, and yeah, more worried about Demon Hunter. Now, peeps, unfortunately, we have to kind of get into the more unsavory topics. I'm gonna talk about a few different things that I've noticed just not playing WoW as the main game and just playing a lot of different games. And yeah, afterwards, we're also gonna talk about, well, some series that I have planned for you guys and see what you guys are interested in. So first off, like, the number one thing that I hope everybody just at this point figures out and just realizes is that Blizzard is not Blizzard. And this, you just notice this finally when you kind of, I think, take a step back and you just kind of take a look and you realize, wait, is this the company that I fell in love with? Is this the company that used to make those games that, like, painted, right, that impacted my childhood so much? Is this the company that has been making, you know, this game that has been in my life since I was like, what, 7 years old, 6 years old? And the realization is it's not. It pretty much is not the same company. I think the best analogy that I can come up with is like a restaurant. Like, all of a sudden the restaurant changes owners and, like, it has a build up, like, a fan base and whatever, but, like, the new owner is just not capable of managing the restaurant. All of a sudden you have different cooks cooking and the different cooks that are now cooking are not trained like the old cooks, so, like, the dishes start losing quality all of a sudden, and I feel like that's, like, the best way that you can kind of feel about Blizzard, because that's like what's been happening. Like we've been consistently losing quality. The game has been going worse and becoming worse and worse, just like technically wise. I don't know how many of you have noticed, but like your FPS, every expansion goes down without the game actually getting like better fidelity or anything like that. Like you're just losing FPS for what? It's like because of unoptimization pretty much, right? Like they're just not optimizing or something like that, and it's just like the game is becoming worse and worse. My laptop used to actually run BFA, no problem. My laptop used to run Shadowlands, no freaking problem. My laptop cannot run the War Within. Like I was like shocked by that, like perplexed. How was my gaming laptop that played these two expansions that honestly look very much, you know, the same as far as like graphics wise, but oh my god, for some reason I'm having 20 FPS in freaking the War Within, right? And it is not just me being in the War Within, me going into Shadowlands or going into past expansions, right? I'm still having that FPS, so like technically the game has become worse. Story wise, I don't even have to mention it to you guys. Like I literally quit Shadowlands because of the story. I quit Shadowlands not because I've minded the grinding or I minded the game, it was like a bad game or whatever. No, I quit because for some reason Sylvanas gets to freaking disenchant Arthas. And even like put the bad words at him, like going like that to me.
Arthas. Is this all that remains of him?
The last flicker of his scarred spirit, consumed in the forges of the jailer.
But your legacy is at an end. Be gone then, Arthas Menethil. May the last whisper of your name fade and be forgotten.
But you cannot kill hope.
Can't I?
Like room temperature IQ right there. That's the only way I can put it. Like you room temperature, you don't even have the sense to understand like the context, how stupid that looks. That Sylvanas, out of all people, is the one that puts down Arthas when he's like, you know, dies finally, right? Or gets disenchanted. Like Sylvanas out of everybody, like she's like the last person that can even say anything to him, like as far as I'm considered. Like, but let's not get into like the lore stuff. Like everything has been just going downhill. The lore stuff maybe is gonna get improved because Chris Metzen is back, but let's not like joke with each other. That's gonna be improved in like Midnight or like future expansions. It's not gonna be improved now. Like everything that's gonna happen in the War Within is probably like already set in stone. Pretty much, if you take any like idea from this video or any point from this video, is gonna be that Blizzard is just not Blizzard anymore. Like the management does not seem to be as good as before. Developers, or like the quality stuff of the stuff that the developers are putting forth, is just not there. Like it's constantly broken. There's constantly some issues, right? There's constantly bugs. There's bugs that were not fixed for like literally months. Like I forget, for Demon Hunter it was like Monster Rising, right? Like Monster Rising was like bugged for literally like 2 months, dude. Like it is insane just how bad quality-wise they've gotten, and just like, and if you take any point out of this video, it's, I hope, is this, that Blizzard is just not Blizzard anymore. Now, peeps, I actually had some additional topics talking about the visual soup of WoW and why I think Blizzard is making another Plunderstorm mistake with Drive, but I'm gonna keep those topics for another video. Now, what I actually want to do is pitch you some video ideas for 3 different series that I have in mind for you. Now, let's get one thing clear right away. I am still gonna be covering World of Warcraft, definitely going through Season 2 of the War Within, but if I'm gonna be covering World of Warcraft after that, that is really up to Blizzard. If Blizzard does not fix the very overarching and very obvious issues at this point, unfortunately, I'm just not gonna be able to invest the time into World of Warcraft anymore. So, as promised before, I am gonna be covering World of Warcraft 11.1, but after that, it really is up to Blizzard. So the first series idea is gonna be a playthrough of Black Myth Wukong, and I must say, this is a game that I've been looking very much forward to playing. ever since it dropped, I was very hyped for its release, but I just never had the time to actually play it, like with life and like just playing World of Warcraft and other stuff that I had going for. I just couldn't actually play it at the time, and I've been kind of wanting to play it kind of on the live streams on the channel, but yeah, I think it's maybe finally time to do something about it. The only gripe or the only issue that I kind of see with it is that it's not really the type of content that you guys are maybe used to, and maybe not the type of content I'm usually the best at. I feel like I'm the best at when I'm doing kind of like a journey or going through a journey, and honestly, that would be just kind of a playthrough, right? But otherwise, I mean, let's be honest, it is the last year's people's choice for the best game of the year, so definitely something I'm gonna play at some point. For a second series that I might show on the channel would be me coming back to League of Legends. Just covering my comeback as kind of like an OG of MOBAs, and just how do I take the game, how do I look at the game, and this would very much be in line with the kind of content I usually make the best, which is my guides or my journey kind of through learning something. So I feel like that's gonna fit a lot more with, but I also think it would be interesting to show just how somebody who's been playing MOBAs for literally ever since MOBAs have existed, how somebody like me thinks about the game and takes the game, especially when coming back to the game after like a big break. I've taken basically almost like a 2-year break at this point from League. And my final series idea would be a WoW PvPer taking a look at Guild Wars 2. Now, to be quite frank with you, this is obviously not some super original content. People from Guild Wars have went to World of Warcraft, and people from World of Warcraft have went to Guild Wars 2 to kind of do that kind of a video, but I feel like there has never been like specifically a PvPer from the World of Warcraft side. It's usually kind of like a raider, right? For me, most notably, I've seen like the Preach's video series on Guild Wars 2. So, but Preach and me are kind of like very much opposites when it comes to World of Warcraft gamers. So I think it would be very much nice to see kind of like a World of Warcraft PvPer's view on like a different MMO. How do I like that MMO's progression? How do I like its PvP? How do I like the other parts of the game, right? But it would actually also be a positive on the World of Warcraft side, since I would basically be able to kind of explore additional ideas and see what other games have to offer, so that when I am now making new ideas for World of Warcraft PvP and such, that I actually have like more to work with, right? Additionally, I think it's definitely more in line with what I'm good at, kind of covering a journey and what I had to learn on the way. So peeps, I'm very interested in what you think and which series of videos would you be the most interested in. So please comment down below your choice or vote on the community post that will be up when the video is up as well. Don't miss your opportunity to choose which videos we get on the channel. At this point, peeps, I really hope you've enjoyed this little video. Like, comment, subscribe, all those things that YouTubers want you to do, and I hope you have a nice day.